welcome to, I believe this is episode 9 of the Checks Over Strikes podcast. We're your hosts, Dean and Craig, and we got some interesting topics that we're going to be talking about today. As you see, new location, so we got the screen on the back. So sometimes you got to just change it up a bit, you know? So, Craig, what are we starting off with today?
To be honest, I'm going to just give you a quick breakdown of how I feel. I'm somewhat in an emotional state. My team lost on Sunday. The Buffalo Bills, if you guys don't already know, went down to the Kansas City Chiefs. Unfortunately, my team played Kansas City Chiefs and the refs. But I said, give me a couple days to get over it. I'm over it. I'm back. It was just a rough Sunday for me. So my mind state is slowly coming back. But again, there's always next year. Go Bills, go. I was hurt. I'm telling you, I was hurt. I was crushed. I'm not gonna lie. Crushed.
Why did you think anything different? Bills are like the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're never going to the finals. Like, you just have to just say,
I know.
You have to just part ways with it, because I feel sports has taken the route of how wrestling has been set up. It's all staged.
Yeah. I laugh.
Like, they have, what's his name? Patrick Mahomes on the team. He's the superstar. He's like the new
Tom Brady.
Yeah, so why would they do anything different? At the end of the day, it's a business. They need to make money. The only people that like the Bills, some of Canada, and Buffalo.
Yeah.
New York's a big state, but Buffalo is on its... People don't even consider Buffalo a part of New York. Buffalo is Buffalo.
It's unfortunate.
So I don't ever see that happening. Like how they made the Raptors win once, we're never winning again. Like, I don't think they expected us to act the way we did, but they said never again we're letting a Canadian team win a championship. We brought it over there, we seen what it was like, but no, never again. And at the end of the day, I just think owners, investors, they run it. So whatever they say goes. Hey, if the media is gonna like or people are gonna like this is what we're gonna do. But in terms of Bills versus Chiefs, now I could only imagine what the ratings would be like if the Bills were playing the Eagles on for Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The ratings would be like shot. And they'll be like, oh, this is the worst ratings we've ever had, and blah, blah, blah. Even if Bills won as well, it would never fly. Trust me.
Yeah, so, and I think that's... I don't know if you watched the game.
No.
I watched the game, and I'm just saying, you could see how things are unraveling to say, like, you know what? KC is going to come back and win, or there's going to be some BS calls by the ref to push the advantage to KC. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, that's exactly what transpired. So it hurts. It shouldn't hurt. You're right. I should know this. But again, I think sports has such an influence on emotions, especially when during COVID, when everything was locked down. The little sports that we did have, everybody was on it. Like, sports is that vehicle to bring people together or push people apart, depending on what type of sport it is.
Yeah, sports is just as bad as politics and religion. And those are the two things I kind of stay away from when it comes to conversations, because you're going to end up nowhere. When someone feels they're right about something, I'm right, and you can't change my mind about it. Yeah. It's like barbershop conversations. Like, it never gets old. Yeah. One guy's arguing with the next guy, no, this. It's always the LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan fight in barbershops. Football, same thing. So I just kind of just stay away from that stuff.
And I don't know if you've seen that now. And I didn't know this. Scottie Pippen, like, really dislikes Jordan. Like, I didn't know it was that much of a dislike. You know, you win 6 championships with the guy, and Scottie hates him. He does not like him. I was like, what the hell? You guys played together for years.
A lot of players didn't like Jordan. And I think he punched Steve Kerr in his mouth one time. Steve tried to mouth him. It was clocked him one, yo.
So, yeah. I know we're going off topic, but that's just how my weekend went. I'm back, hopefully mentally here. Again, go Bills, go next year. So, first topic, and I called it the stimulus package, because as many of you are aware, and again, this is politics, which Dean doesn't like, but I have to bring it up because it's just something that always is going to have an influence in our lives. So, $200 is being sent out to I think it's every Canadian.
I didn't know
over a certain age. It doesn't matter how much you make. It doesn't matter how much you spend. It doesn't matter if you haven't done your taxes. You are getting $200. Our homeboy, Mr. Ford, again, I think he's using this as a scheme to get votes. But my whole thing behind it was, you get $200 in this day and age. What does $200 do for you?
That's 1 week worth of groceries, if you're lucky. Not even 1 week. That's like, because for my family, we're doing like 6 bills, bro. So that's not even, that's like 3 days worth of groceries. Or maybe pay your internet and cable bill, because Rogers and Bell wants to keep jacking up the price. So that's all you're really getting.
And that's the thing, like, at the end of the day, is it enough, or is it too little? Like, is that gonna skew your thoughts with regards to this upcoming election, February 27th?
I didn't even know election was coming.
Yeah, the election's coming February 27th. What's happening is, again, I know Dean is not so politicky. That's a word. But I see it. I see it every day. I hear it on the news, and it's just, okay, everyone's trying to come together like Voltron to stop Trump.
Well, mind you, I'll vote. It's just, I just don't pay attention to that stuff. But most definitely, if you're somebody that's Canadian, or even wherever you are,
Yeah, that's true.
your vote matters. Even if, like, one could be that big difference. So don't discount your vote because you're just one person. Voting matters.
Yeah, like I said, I just feel that, and everyone's saying that, oh, Ford is doing this because he wants to put a chokehold on the political party, but again, it has to happen. Trudeau's going out. Trump, as of February 1st, is supposed to make all these terrorist moves. Not terrorists.
Tariffs.
Tariffs.
Call the man a terrorist.
I know, sorry guys, didn't want to scare you. But yeah, I think he's doing this now. He's giving you money to put in your pocket. But what is it ultimately going to do for you? Like I said, I believe $200 is absolutely nothing. However, if you're a person that is not good with money, or a person that just, as soon as I get it, I'm going to blow it, it's the mindset. How do we take $200 and make it stretch? If that's maybe that's the question I should be asking. For the people that don't have a lot, how do you make $200 stretch?
That's a good question. The thing you do is, and I'm going to kind of segue into something else, is you got to invest it into yourself. And as much as we keep preaching that, like, somebody came to me today and said, oh, everybody's talking about this stock, it dropped or whatever, should I buy it? The energy that we have to go and research things that we want or things that we think are cool, put that same energy in learning about the stock market. Because like conspiracy theorists or whatever, they'll be like, oh, like robots are going to take over, whatever. And they go deep diving into it, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to using that strength to put towards learning about the stock market, they don't have it. There's a good, now I'm segueing, but a good book is by Peter, I can't remember his name, but it's about the stock market. And one thing he quotes in there, when you went to buy your house, you probably knew almost nothing about it, about real estate, but you still went out in it, and it was a big purchase. But when it came to the stock market, you had a lot of reserves, like, I could lose my money. It's like the little bread that you would have lost, you're more concerned about that than you getting into real estate and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. So to me, it's like, it's a whole mindset thing. It's like, take the principles, speaking of the book of the week, principles, we're going to talk about that.
Yep.
Take those principles and apply it to the thing that you want to get into. It's the exact same thing. You want to learn how to cook food? What are you going to do? You're going to go and research. You're going to go look up the recipe. You're going to find the best recipe. And then you're going to follow step by step. Stock market works the exact same way. So stop limiting yourself to what you believe and just go and try. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You learn about something, like, to me, that's a win for you.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's the mindset, because when you're making a purchase such as a house, you're thinking shelter, comfort, where am I going to live? People are so far ahead to think, okay, you know what? I need a place to live. They're not thinking about, well, I need a stock. Or they're not thinking, do I need a stock? Do I need to invest? So, and again, you're investing in something which is a huge purchase. So again, it boils down to mindset and how you think. And it's so funny when you the book here, book of the week, and it's so funny when I opened it. The very first, and it says it right here, the very first chapter. Think for yourself to decide what you want, what is true, and what you should do to achieve it.
Too many people. we
it's crazy.
We hear something, and that we use that as the truth.
Yeah.
But you got to challenge all your beliefs. You growing up, like your mom said, like, what's it called? Like if you spill salt, you must dash it over your shoulder, or you're gonna have 7 years bad luck.
Yeah.
Challenge that. Why? Who said that? Where did that come from? We're believing. And this is like what the school systems are doing. It's like we program children. They programmed us to be like, this is how things go. And kind of segueing to something that I've seen. Word on the street, I want to call this segment, is like 4 money tips Millennials and Gen Zs won't listen to, according to Vivian too. So she's that rich girl, BFF girl. I think that's her. And she was saying, pay down debt with a second job. People get a second job, a side hustle. Don't even touch the debt. It's live that lavish life, but still accumulate, or still have the debt. You got that job so that you can become free, so you can have a peace of mind. Why aren't you paying off that debt? Why are you going on trips? Why are you buying new shoes? Not saying you can't have those things, but your whole purpose of that second job was to pay off that debt so that you can go and do other things. And then, what was the other one? Eating out. Like more and more frequently, people are doing that. And I blame TikTok because every time you look, you're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. We're always sending people stuff like, yo, look at this, look at that. And the other day I was driving, I was like, a chicken wing is a chicken wing. It doesn't matter where you go, it's still gonna taste like chicken. Like you're putting 1-2 sauce on it and I'm paying you $30. I can do that at home. Like honey mustard. I go get French Dijon mustard, some honey. Boom, I got my own honey mustard. Throw that on some what do I use the honey mustard for? Some chicken nuggets. I'm good. But if I went to a restaurant, they're charging me $30 for that.
Or if you go to McDonald's, what's a nugget combo? $20 now? $15 for 10?
Crazy.
So no, these things are very, very true.
And then the next is sticking with your full-time gig. So I found this out the hard way. Being loyal doesn't pay. People are trying to stay in jobs till they retire. That doesn't happen anymore. I was at my job. I thought I was going to retire with them. Yeah, we're getting rid of you guys. I was just like that? And I was like, wow, okay. But it's like, that doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't even matter if you're a union. Like, they'll find ways to kick you out.
Yep.
And then the last one was thinking that all debt is bad. And when you have that mindset, you haven't learned about money correctly.
Yep.
Your relationship's not good. You need to go out there and really figure out your relationship. A good book to read is The Psychology of Money and Just Keep Spending. Those are 2 good books. And when you start reading and understanding how money really works or how you can use it to your advantage, it changes the game for you. Like for us, we use borrowed money to make money. But most people, it's like, oh, I borrowed the money to pay for stuff. But it's like, no, stop being a consumer, be a producer.
Yeah.
How do you make that money work for you? You're getting the ability to have a vehicle to make more money. That is how the rich play the game. Robert Kiyosaki, I'm $1 billion in debt, but it's good debt. I make 100 million a year or a month or whatever, because he's leveraging other people's money to make more money. And they haven't seen the advantage of borrowing money, because if you use your own money, I buy a house with cash and I sell it in a year's time and I make $100,000. What do I have to pay, Craig?
Capital gains.
You borrowed money, and you borrowed money to buy the same type of house, but you borrowed money to buy that same type of house. You sold it, you made 100 grand, but you kept it, and now you are collecting interest or collecting rent, but now you have debt to pay. You have no capital gain to pay. You're making a bit of money, but you have that depreciation of that property.
Yep.
To offset what you made. So guess what? You pay no taxes. I come up paying taxes. Like, we all think that we're the big winners because, I made 100 grand. But no, these guys are keeping that property, because why? They're making the cash flow, but they have their the depreciation of the building that's reducing how much cash flow that they have. In turn, means less taxes. That's how you play the game. When you're just buying and selling to make money, that's capital gain. That's like one of the highest taxes you pay. That's how you got to learn about money.
And that's why they say buy and hold. Like the whole objective is not to buy and sell, but it's to buy and hold
Forever.
Exactly.
Like that and stocks, never sell them unless stocks, unless the story changes for the company.
Exactly.
Like if Apple says we're not making phones anymore, I'm out. I'm not buying Apple stock anymore. But for real estate, people always need a place to live. Businesses are always gonna need buildings.
Yep.
It's never changed. Like that thing's never changing. Like you can't say, all right, we're never gonna need buildings again and go live outside. No, it's not happening. That's something that's not gonna change. It's a fact. It's constant. It can't change. So it's like play the game the way the game's supposed to be played. You buy it, okay, you die, you pass it on to the next person. Same thing. It's like Monopoly, but play Monopoly long term. I have kids, you get it. You let your kids know once you're done with it to your kids, and you keep going. Some people have properties since like the 1900s.
Yeah.
It's like it's generation after generation. Yep. Like there's some areas you go to, you can't buy those houses. They're not selling to you, and they're not selling to the market. It's going to their kids, and then their kids know to send it to the next generation, and hundreds of years. That's how you play the game.
That's how it goes. That's really, really how it goes. And like I said, I know we veered off into a few spaces, but like Dee mentioned, if you're going to get money, again, like I said, $200 for this particular scenario, the most thing that people overlook is just a budget. So if you want that money to stretch, budget that money.
Yep.
Or challenge yourself. Again, Dean did a challenge, $20 for groceries. Like, you know what I mean? Challenge yourself, make the money stretch, and see where you can go with the money. I know as soon as people get it in their hands, I'm going to pay a debt, which is fine. But a lot of people are emotionally attached to money. So when it needs to be paid or something needs to be paid, they don't want to see the money go because they don't know where the next money's coming from, right? So again,
that's a scarcity mindset.
And that's the mindset.
And when you have that scarcity mindset, you're always going to live in lack. You have to start living in abundance. And living in abundance starts with just your mindset. One thing that I've learned is in order to live in abundance, you have to stop looking at the future. What is to come? Future hasn't happened yet. So that's it's a prediction. What already happened is your past. Look for where you have come to where you are now. That is how you live in abundance. I've got all these things. I'm good. Let me just keep moving forward, because now you live in that positive space of energy instead of that negative space. I never have this. I never have that. Why does this always happen to me? When you start talking like that, it will always show up in your life. But when you immediately change your attitude about life and start living in the positive light, things change for you. It's not to say you're gonna win the lottery overnight, but things will happen where it's a sequence of events, because now you can reflect and be like, yo, this happened to me, that happened to me. Damn, life's really getting good for me. And you're gonna keep tracking towards that. But if you keep saying, oh, this is not enough, it's never enough, you're gonna never have enough.
And then, like I said, a lot of people like to, and I talked about this a few times, a lot of people like to think about, oh my God, prayer. But prayer without action, like, it's not going to work. Yeah. God is constantly putting you in situations, right? But if you sit down and not do anything about it, what's prayer going to do for you? Prayer with action. That's the only way things are going to move. And it's funny because it kind of segue into our next, discussion is, what's the status of our financial literacy in our communities? Is there a shift in how people approach money? And the reason why I asked that question, we've been doing this for about 5 years. We've been talking about 6. Money and how to leverage money, and what's happening. Where do you see a shift in our community? Is there a change? Like, what is the number one thing that's holding people back?
People say they want it, but the first part of wanting it is starting it. And people are not starting. I want. It's great that you want, but you got to pick up your little feet and start walking towards it by doing the action. Like, I can't, if I tell you to budget, go and budget. Like, literally, it's like, hey, here's a game plan that'll get you to where you need to be. Da. Did you start? No. When are you going to start? Tomorrow. Tomorrow's that's too late. It's
Yep.
now.
Yep.
You stop what you're doing and get to it. What are you waiting for? What's gonna change tomorrow that you can't do it right now? Oh, I'm busy doing this. I'm busy clearing my house. Your house can wait. If you want change, take the first step towards it. I can't help you do anything past that. I'm not gonna be there side by side telling you what to do. You already have the blueprint, not just from us, but people in general. You have the internet. The internet is like the whole dictionary on how to live
Yep.
without whatever, right? But people don't want to take that extra step to do it. And it's like, it's just that first push. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a money associated push, but just believing in yourself and just changing your previous actions. So, as you say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting change. But what change is coming if you're not changing?
And
Change doesn't happen if you don't change.
And how I kind of view that with our communities is that, unfortunately, Instagram tells me a lot about how people think and where people think they are. And again, I keep saying Instagram is a big farce because it's leading you to believe that someone is doing something about their lives. Well, in actuality, nothing's being done because they are putting up a fake, lavish lifestyle. And when I talk about our community, I think it's still there. I don't know, and maybe we are not, and I'm going to take accountability. Maybe we're not doing enough to get out there and talk to our community. But then again, when I think about it, I'm like, we've been talking for 5 years.
It's that topic most people don't like talking about. It's people need to get over their ego, their embarrassment. Nobody cares. Nobody's gonna judge you and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you have all this debt, or oh my God, I can't believe you spend on this stuff. When you really drill down, nobody cares. And it's like, people are always thinking what other people are thinking about them. And that's where you need to stop yourself.
Yeah, man, I wish I had I think next time we got to get some sound bites because that's what you just said is so true. Too many people think too much of what other people think about them. And quite frankly, they're not even thinking about you.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
I hear it every single time. Oh my God, this person's going to think this. I'm like, why do you care about what other people are going to think?
That's what holds back a lot of people. And if people got over that, things would start to change for them. It's like too much pride.
And again, the information is out there. And I think, and it's not to say that our community is far off. I think we're there, but I just don't think enough conversations are being had. It's like we're there and then something pops up to distract you from where you need to go.
You know what's funny? There's this Jamaican guy talking to this guy in the street, and he's like, belief is a doubt. And like he gets into this whole thing. Like it's so like it went viral at one point, but every so often I go back to watch it because if you're really taking what he says, he spits some real knowledge. Like belief is a doubt. So it's like whatever you believe, it's a doubt. Like it's not real, but facts are facts. Like you look at me, I'm black, you're black, right? But if I close my eyes and you tell me you're white, I would have to go based off of what you told me because that's all I hear, right?
Yeah.
So my belief is because what you told me is that you're white. So I have to go based off of what I heard. So that is my belief, which is a doubt because I don't know if it's true or not, right? So I'm just taking whatever's there is true. But the moment I open my eyes and see that, I see that it's false. So now it's facts that you are a black person, right? But the way people think is like, once they have that belief is constant. Like it can't change. Your beliefs can change. If you don't start changing your beliefs, nothing's gonna change for you.
No, that's exactly what it is. And I think how people still approach money now is, again, it's a scarcity. How people approach money, they don't know when that next dollar is coming. So, and whether you're working or not working or in business or entrepreneur, when you're in that stagnant state and you're not really progressing, you're always going to think, okay, what am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to get this done? How am I going to get this done? And then sometimes what it does is your emotion plays with your mind state. And then you end up doing something that you would have never done because your back is against the wall.
To get over that, it's like, not saying that everyone has their situation, but if you start with the smallest possible thing that you could do, it can take off and compound and become something great. Like, even if it's selling candies for like $1,
Yeah.
or going to Dollarama, buying $1 chocolate and sell it for $2. Like, it sounds stupid, but it's the momentum that you pick up from it, right? Especially like thinking back to when I grew up, this guy back in the hood, he just had like his own convenience store out of his house. You go to a man's house and you tell him what you want. You want an ice cream sandwich, you go to his house and you buy whatever, right? It's a little hustle that can help you get out of your situation. Like, it doesn't have to be money. If it's you spending, freeze your credit cards. Take the credit cards off of your phone. Stop memorizing your credit cards. It's the little things that add up over time. But I don't know how to get to people. It's like, we're telling you, just try it. Like, what happens if you do that? Like, you miss out on an Amazon sale? It's not the end of the world. It's funny, like, Netflix just increased their price. People are showing, oh, Netflix, you increased your price. But guess what? You're still going to pay it. If you really want to change, you would cancel it, find an alternative, or just no TV at all.
No TV at all.
TV is not the end of the world.
And again, it's small increments, because I don't know what Netflix increased our price to, but
It's like
let's just say
$24 now.
25. So let's say $25 a month. $25 times 12.
That's like $400.
So at the end of the day, a sacrifice of that magnitude can put $400 back in your pocket, but people are not seeing the long-term vision goal of that. They're looking at it as of the now. What are you doing for me now? What have you done for me lately? Dun, 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 dun. I don't want to sing the rest, but you know what it is. That's how people think. What are you doing for me now? Like, what have you done? And when you think about things like that, again, it's still going to be hard for you to get to where you need to get, because you're not thinking that, well, if I save this, I'm going to have $400 back in my pocket.
Adults are like children, and they don't want to admit it. Like, for example, you tell a child, they say, I'm hungry. When's dinner? And you say in like 20 minutes. But 20 minutes is like 2 hours for them, or eternity.
Yeah.
That's how adults are acting.
Option is Domino's Pizza on McLean Drive in Brampton, less than a half kilometer to the west, and it gets 100%
Cancel.
ratings. Is that the one you're looking for?
No.
Hey guys, technology at its best.
On McLean Drive in Brampton, less than a half kilometer to your west.
What happened?
100%
I
positive
didn't even ask for Domino's, so I'm not quite sure. And then look at it. Holy man, look at this. Don't allow. This is the foolishness.
man.
This is the foolishness you got to deal with. Not now.
You
No
see
way,
technology, laptop, phone, TV, glasses, like, you just can't escape it. But you have to be careful of these things, man. And adults, when you can admit you have that childlike symptom, it's like you're trying to satisfy what you didn't have as a kid, and you have to go back to your roots. If you don't understand your roots, you can't fix your problems now. So if you're somebody that's always angry, your anger, there's an underlining emotion. And when you're angry, it's you're scared, or you're lonely, or it's something. It's something deeper than that.
Yep.
But most people don't take the time to figure that out.
And it's funny. Someone said to me most recently, the last post that yourself and Dean posted, they're like, oh my God, you hit a point. So I'm like, okay, what are you gonna do about it? It's like, that's fine, you're telling me it hit a point, but what are you gonna do about it? A lot of people are still like, okay, yeah, I hear it, I see it, but what am I gonna do?
You know what it is? I can't remember where I heard it, but I'm guilty of this, and I kind of try to stop. People feel like they have accomplished something by talking about it instead of putting action behind it. So someone would say, yo, I got this sick business idea. I'm going to go and execute it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and never do it. Why? Because you got that like, I want to say, like, you got that dopamine hit just for talking about it. And you got that reaction out of somebody that you felt good. But then after that, it stopped. Instead of taking that energy that you had in that moment and taking that first action. But I digress. So what else are we talking about this week?
Gen Zs, and it's so funny. I saw this, I read about this, and it talked about Gen Zs will dominate the workforce. And for those who don't know what a Gen Z is, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Though Gen Zs are those people that are born between the mid-90s up until 2010. So my daughter's actually a Gen Z. They said that Gen Zs will comprise of 27% of the workforce across the OECD countries in 2025. They are a stressed out bunch coming of age during the global pandemic and a historic cost of living crisis. They'll arrive in the workplace expecting mental health support, flexible and remote work, and commitments to diversity. Employees are responding with perks such as benefit plans that include long-term psychological services, fewer in-office days, and lengthy onboarding programs to let new hires find their comfort zone in the workplace. So when I read that and I think about what it's doing, again, like I said, my daughter's a Gen Z, and I kind of see some of the characteristics already in her, in just how she thinks.
They're entitled, and
Exactly, and privileged.
we're it's like you can't say this, you can't do that. Like at one point, you won't be able to look at people. Like you're gonna get charged for looking at someone the wrong way. Like just for me looking at you like this, you're charged. Like what? Like you guys are too emo. Like get out of your feelings. Like you need too much of this, too much of that. Get the job done. How about that? That's what we're paying you for. Get the job done.
And it's crazy because it talks about them demanding things in a job. And I'm not saying that you can't demand something, because obviously when you're hired, you get to negotiate your salary and so on and so forth. And you can kind of use that to leverage it. However, again, people that are in a job for 25 to 30 years, that's just not happening. So instead of demanding things, when you go into a job, you got to also think, okay, how do I get the most out of this job? But at the same time, I can walk away stress free. I can have a work-life balance if that's need be, because again, we all can't be chiefs. There's going to be some Indians. Sorry for that pun, and there's no pun intended, but that's just what it is. At the end of the day, if you're going to work for somebody or you're going to do a job or work for an organization, make sure it benefits you as much as possible. And I guess maybe that's the reason why they have to demand certain things. But again, there has to be a work-life balance, and you can't always be tied to your job.
I just feel like it's just too much. It's like going overboard, because there's a lot of people that would take advantage of things. Like when you have all those things in place, people just start doing minimal effort. And at the end of the day, it's a business. So if you, John, and Paul are all fooling around, not doing your job, business doesn't do what it needs to do. Guess what? Business doesn't make money. Business can't pay you. Now you have no job. There has to be some sort of balance. But if you're saying, fill my demand list before I come work for you, like you're doing too much, bro.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we all noticed, like there was plenty of stories in the news that when the pandemic came, obviously people were working from home, and some people were taking advantage of it.
Yep.
Some people were maybe not working as hard because I'm at home, or I'm going to, work hard for a couple of hours, then go take a nap. When normally you couldn't do that at the workplace.
You see, there's one thing to be efficient and then just not doing nothing, right? Like if you're somebody that's literally just logging in just for the sake of logging in, knowing that you're not going to do anything, okay. But and I think that's where we need to shift the culture when it comes to business. If I could pay based off of value instead of time, because then now people are not wasting the company's time and you're getting paid for your value. So if it takes you an hour to do your job, but you're there for 8 hours, like still pay that person whatever they deserve, but now let that person do whatever, right? Because you got whatever is done for that job, move on to the next thing. I think businesses would be able to streamline things easier for themselves, because now it's like, this task only takes an hour to do. So instead of paying you for 8 hours, I'm paying you to do this job, and then you're out. Go do whatever. But not to say that you can do that for every business, but the ones that in particular where people are like, oh, it only takes me like 5 minutes to do my job. Like, okay, then take your 5 minutes and that's it. It's quality over quantity. Like, what else can I do after that, right? Funny that you mentioned like some people like doing whatever. Like some computers would monitor the person's keystroke, so people would get like those tipping birds and just press the thing. So it's like people will find ways around that.
But well, when I used to work for, I'm not gonna say the company, You guys already know. But my VP told me that how you provide value for a company is if you're not trying to eradicate your job. So if you're not thinking outside of the box to remove yourself from the position, you don't show any value, right? Because if you have those thought processes, you're going to be way up in the company because like, yo, we need you because
Exactly.
you are now thinking outside of the box. Now you're thinking that, okay, well, if I can remove my job, your value just becomes a lot higher because the thought process that you thought to say, okay, well, I can eradicate my job by doing X, Y, and Z and doing this more efficiently.
Yep.
That's like you said, the value. If you pay people in value, you would see a big difference in how people approach their job.
Yep. And AI is slowly just coming in. It's like, hey, we don't need to replace you with somebody. We'll replace you with a robot.
Robot, yeah.
And it's like, you don't like those mundane jobs or whatever. That's where AI is coming in. Mind you, if you're smart, figure out how to operate that robot so that you still keep a job
Exactly.
at a different level now. So
Yeah. So again, guys, I know it's been very good, very, very good conversation. But we're gonna go to book of the week, and I'm gonna start off by saying this, and I want Dean to hold me accountable. Taking up a book and reading 10 pages a day.
that's easy.
Taking up a book, you say it's easy because you probably do it.
Yeah.
Practice makes progression. For those people that don't take up a book because they don't like to read or they haven't found the content, and you know what? I don't think it's as much as that people don't like to read. I don't think they've found what they like to read. Maybe if you switch it around.
That part. That's how I started reading. I found something that I enjoyed, and then I got hooked. So once you find something you enjoy, you got hooked. Now, for those, if you look at the thickness of a book, you have the wrong approach.
Yeah.
That book was easier for me to read than some of the books that are less lengthy than that book. Mind you, that's 2 books in one. But when I picked up that book, I started with the second one first. I like the principles part versus
Okay.
his story. His story, that was boring.
Yeah.
It's good, but it was boring. But his principles, I couldn't put it down. I was just like, yo, this is sick. Like, this guy's like really spitting some game here. And it's something you just can't put down. So once you find something that you like, you just continue at it. And if you're really struggling with 10 pages, start with a paragraph. Start with the dumbest thing possible. If a paragraph's too much, start with 1 sentence.
Yep.
Because if you start with the smallest increment or the microcosm of something, I like to use that word because I want to feel smart.
Yeah, it sounds like a drink, to be honest with you.
But when you start with that one little piece, it makes it 10 times easier for you to continue on and be like, okay, I read 1 page, let me continue reading. And then you just keep going and going. But that book is a real good book. He has a few others. He talks about like the whole shift of like the shift in power when it comes to money. So right now, America has the strongest currency, but the power is shifting. I don't know when that's happened, but he predicted that for a while now. So if you go back in history, there's been like about 4 or 5 different power shifts when it comes to money. So America is the stronghold right now, but the way things are going, America might lose that. So that's something that he talks about. And then there's a next book that he's coming out with, just like the dollar, how it's like deflating and it's going to be worth nothing. And I think it's kind of gearing into crypto. So that's something to look out for as well.
Yeah, and the name of the book, it's called Principles by Ray Dalio. So again, Principles by Ray Dalio. Again, we challenge you, whether it be a sentence, a paragraph, 1 page, 2 pages, to pick up a book and read something. Read something that you enjoy, or pick up something that you think you're going to like, because that's the only way you're going to be able to further expand the knowledge, because a lot of things are just in books like these that can help you elevate yourself and help you elevate others.
Another thing you could do is, if you have Audible or Spotify, read the book and listen to it at the same time. It helps with retaining the information. So that's a little hack for you guys as well. And
last but not least, again, a whiteboard moment. I know I don't have the whiteboard. It's been kind of, and
we're holding a name.
Yeah.
For when the whiteboard's here. So
yeah, and
just bear with us.
Just bear with us. We're changing locations. I hope you guys like this, the new look.
We're trying a thing, you know.
We're trying something.
We're from the hood, so we like to do it. Like, you know, we have a little ghetto flair to what we do.
Most definitely. And again, I'm still gonna. If you guys been following our pod, you'll notice that we'll be doing some whiteboard moments, and the topic has been credit. So if you guys have any topics that you guys want to talk about that you want to bring up on the pod, again, hit subscribe below and send us a DM at Checks Over Strikes on IG. We're easy to find. We answer our DMs and we will get back to you at our earliest convenience. So I'm going to take a stab at it, and I'm still going to continue with credit until someone tells me otherwise. Because I had something here. See, now my phone just did some foolishness. I didn't ask for. Okay, here we are. I think the last time we spoke about was a mistake on your credit report. So if I continue with credit, something that could increase your credit score is something as simply paying off your loan. So you paid off your loan, what happens next? So paying something off can cause your credit score to drop. You may ask why. While it may seem logical, the answer is yes. The one reason that paying off a loan can have a negative effect on your credit score is that it could change your credit mix. In general, having a healthy mix of revolving credit like credit cards and installments or loans like mortgages, auto loans is good for you for your credit score because it's a credit mix. So you have a bunch of things that is constantly revolving and you're paying. But it doesn't mean that you should avoid paying off your loans only for the sake of your credit score. You can still build a strong credit score without having one of each type of credit. So I'm going to go back and kind of explain the whole credit mix. Again, some people have mortgages, some people have car loans, some people have school loans. Again, we're not saying that you shouldn't pay them off. The objective is to pay them off. But if you pay it off in one lump sum, it may not have a positive, credit score impact. And the reason why is that it's all a system. It's algorithms, right? So when you get money and you pay off something in a lump sum, they really don't know where you're getting the money from, to really be honest with you. So yes, it's paid off, but they don't know if you borrowed the money from someone else to pay it off, or you borrowed it from another bank to pay something off. They just know it's paid off, and then now you're not really paying something off every 2 weeks. So again, for them to be able to judge you and say, hey, I'm going to give you more credit, they don't know where you got the money. So it's good to continue paying it over a period of time. As long as you have the money, keep paying it, because it just shows that you are able to pay something off and you're paying it on time. And if you do want to go back to that well to get more money, there's the proof. It shows that you have these credit mix situations and you're paying them off within a timely manner. So that's just that. Again, if you do have a loan, we're not saying not to pay it off. You could pay it off, but pay it off in installments, because it just shows that, hey, you are paying and you're paying on time. So that is the whiteboard moment of the week. And that is the end of our pod. Checks Over Strikes. I hope this one was very, very informative. I liked it.
Subscribe. I'm trying to get to 50.
Exactly.
I know it seems scanty right now at 21, but listen, we get to 50, we're going live. So if you want to start seeing us live, Tuesday, 6 p.m., you got to hit the subscribe button. So share this with a friend, tell a friend. Don't be a waste suit.
And we ain't going to stop. We're going to keep doing the pod. So just get us to 50.
Yeah.